Hello, beautiful. It's Joe again, and I am back to talk about alternate day fasting, take 2, week 5. I am actually a day late because, as I mentioned last week, it was time for my eye appointment. I do not live anywhere near the eye doctor. There was copious amounts of driving involved in that day, and it threw my whole week back a day. I did get a day off yesterday, but I was in pretty close to a vegetative state and did not do this. So here we are. Now let's talk about where we're at. First off, fasting life specifically, which is what we're here to talk about. I had a loose and fast kind of week. One, coming off of that extended fast, I almost and tried and thought and strongly considered flipping back into another extended fast immediately. One food day and then back in. It did not work for me. I was hungry. I was stressed feeling, and I had several days where I was not prepared to deal with upset tummy issues that might come from longer fasting and coming back off. For example, Tuesday was the drive, so it's a 2-hour drive to the eye doctor. And that was an ophthalmologist, and they do not actually make glasses or anything. They just do the prescription and the eye exam to make sure everything's copacetic in there. So to find one in our area to actually take my insurance, I had to go another 2 hours past that. And we're just like, well, it's 2, 3 in the afternoon, let's just do it. So I wound up driving 4 hours away from my home just to get the glasses. I did have my heart set on finding a sit-down restaurant to have fajitas. We finally did, but we were 4 hours from home when I found it. So I have my glasses coming, and I did not fast. I ate lighter. I had 7, 8, 900 calorie days, so I did not eat heavily, but I ate pretty much every day this week. I'm back in a fasting window right now. Trip is over. Yesterday, once again, vegetative state, to the degree that I wound up, it's almost that time of the month, paired with complete and total exhaustion from the road trip day. So I wound up having a break from my sensible meal only good eating food thing and did a junk food afternoon. I got some of those baby back flavored chips I like, and the French onion dip I like to dip them in, and some ice cream. I went full sugar, full junk. For dinner I had like frozen pizza. The frozen pizza actually isn't outside of my food range. The snack foods were, and that amount of sugar and that kind of sugar that's not at least naturally occurring, I'm in a fruit or vegetable sugar, is not something I've been doing lately. And I mostly resisted during the road trip even. It was not easy, but I mostly resisted eating that way during the road trip. But I woke up the next morning, I skipped my walk because I didn't get home till after midnight. I go to sleep at like 8:39. So after midnight, still had to walk the gizmo, had to feed him, had to give him some playtime because he was bristling with energy. And so I was just, for the first half of yesterday, I was out of it. So I did just break week and have some junk food. The ice cream I like only comes in the big containers. I did, however, eat myself to satisfied off of the ice cream and the chips and the dip and everything. And then I carried it out to my friend and said, you take the rest of this. This is for you. It's not still in the house. I won't be finishing anything I didn't finish. That's done now. It was a situational slip. It is not the habit. Will not be falling back into that habit. I also did have 1 can of Mountain Dew. So, once again, I was fried. But this week, I did more like 16-8 and 24 and 1 meal. And, I basically fasted 23, 24 hours and then had one good solid meal. I didn't ever do a full 40+ hour fast like I normally would, which I'm back on track with now. I am. So, let's talk about that eye appointment. So, this is what 47 looks like, which is a good time for eyes to go to crap. I got new glasses February of 2020. I've struggled with them the entire time. I believe I may have mentioned previously they put me in a Progressive's reader prescription without telling me, because I'm looking at the paper and there is a reader prescription. It took me a while to figure out what those extra numbers were. They never discussed it with me. They didn't say anything. Well, here's the deal. These aren't Progressives. So let me just say, I would not recommend a Stanton Optical at this point. So they told me on the paper I should be in a Progressives if I want some help reading close up, which I want to be able to read. Yeah, I do office work half the time. I'd like to be able to read. But these are not Progressives. They did not tell me they put me in a Progressive bifocally prescription on the paper. They did not offer me bifocals or Progressives or anything like that. I took my last prescription paper with me to the ophthalmologist. And they put them on the machine or whatever they do to tell them what these prescription is. And then they compared it to the paper I had. They didn't match. They're not quite the same. So not only did I not get readers, this eye got a little bit worse. I am just having regular standard dry eye, but my glasses and my actual prescription did not match, so they messed that up, which explains why it felt so crazy when I would flip between different glasses I had got, because some of them I got online using that prescription paper, and it wouldn't be quite the same as this, and it would feel weird, and I'm like, what did I do? Okay, and that's one of the reasons I thought these must be Progressives, because they didn't feel the same. No, these are just freaking wrong. So anyway, he filled me 2 prescription papers actually. One for standard bifocal and or Progressives, my choice whether I want the line or not. And then one for computer bifocals, which basically apparently means that if, and there's a job I'm going for which would put me behind a desk more hours in the week. So if I were to get that, I would probably want to fill the computer reader prescription. But it means I could read through one part of the glasses on like the computer screen. The other one would be like I can read the paper, so I can like input details and information. But if I looked up to like read a clock, I'm not going to be able to see that. Then I have to change the glasses. But like office work glasses, basically. So I went ahead all the way to Las Cruces, which was another 2-hour drive. And went to an iMart Express, who takes my insurance, and found a pair of glasses I like, which are some pretty cute frames. This is what they're going to look like. And I tried a couple of different ones. There were a couple of cute contenders. And because I wanted all the good coatings, because this glare I'm fighting here, this time I deliberately didn't put much of the extra coatings on it, because my last pair before that, the coatings started wearing, and because I didn't have any backup glasses, I was forever rubbing on them to keep them clean, and the coatings started rubbing off, and I had this like freaky cloud thing going on, and I'm like, this is not going to work for me, so let's try with no coatings. Okay, well that didn't work either. So now we're going for all the fanciest coatings, and I'm going to have spare glasses so I can flip and switch as needed, and if one starts to have a problem, I have others to wear. But because I am going for the no-line Progressives and the fancy coatings. They couldn't do it immediately. They have to send them off and get them back, and they'll mail them to me. I also set up online another pair of my cat eyes, the red cat eyes, with the lined progressive bifocal, so that I can compare, because apparently I've never been in them yet, and everything I understand says it's going to be a process to get used to them. So I am going to try line and no line and see if there's one I like better, or maybe it's going to be a situational thing where a certain one works better when I'm doing something and the other one works better when I'm doing something else, and I'll find out what works for me. So eyes we'll be able to see soon. Also, just FYI, even though it's not fasting related, this is my vlog. We talk about my life in general. You might have noticed. Even though I try to focus on the fasting life, this is just my life. And I did weigh in this morning, and because I did not particularly fast and only had light eating modified, basically I did what is essentially a modified fasting day, which means I tried to keep it into the 1 meal a day, limited calories within the window, but I didn't go completely without. Generally speaking, a modified fasting day would be more like 500-ish calories, or 25% of what your total day energy expenditure number should be. I traditionally would shoot for around 2,000 calories for my TDEE, which meant I should have stayed more like 500 if it was a true modified fast. But it was close to. It was a mix of modified fast meets OMAD. But you actually have to listen to your body too. Don't just go with impulse, but listen to your body. And after that long fast, no matter how much I wanted to roll back into another few days, it was just a challenge. So while I was officially below 200, I no longer am, but I am exactly at 200. So I'm wavered about, what was it, like 1.3 pounds or something like that, I think it was. I think I was at 198.7 after the long fast. And of course, after the long fast, a little bit of it is always going to come back. That's the extreme moment. Alternate day from every other day, it wavers a little bit based on food intake. I mean, just having it still in my stomach. But this time, it definitely wasn't horrible. But back in the saddle, and soon I shall be able to see. I think that's about it for this week. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, if you have any input, please comment, like, subscribe, notification bell, do all the things. And in the meantime, I will catch you on the flip side, and you have a great fasting day.